St. Michael of South Beach. I have a daughter, and we are soulmates. Not the TV movie kind, like two spoons that nestle easily in a drawer, but the kind like two precious stones that are thrown together in a rock tumbler. They knock them about until they're polished, smooth, and beautiful. She was born wild and boundless, but by the time I met her, I had already grown tight and small in many ways. We've waged many battles, so many that at some point we found it difficult to be in the same room, much less in the same car. A few years ago, not believing this yet, we drove from Jupiter Beach to Miami. My daughter has a Celtic soul, and her thoughts and stories weave braids and form labyrinths. 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes of anybody talking sets my nerves on edge, no matter how much I love them. This has pained her, equating my limitations as a listener with disinterest and lack of love. Less than an hour into our drive, we are fighting. "You never listen to me," she yells. "Are you kidding me? That's all I do," I retort. I'm crying sloppy tears of self-pity. She's chain-smoking to control her anger. When we reach the hotel, we take a much-needed time out before we walk to dinner at a nearby restaurant. A bottle of Pinot and an excellent carbonara soothe us somewhat, and soon we are walking home. On the way, an aging black man, semi-blind with cataracts and gray hair, is shaking a styrofoam cup and singing like Stevie Wonder minus the talent. I scrounge for a buck, and as my hand hovers over his cup, he grabs my wrist. "Come here, Missy. Come here. I got something to tell you," he says. His touch jolts me, and I look up at him and then over at my daughter, hoping she will interfere. But she is a block down the way and standing on the corner by herself. St. Michael pulls me in closer and whispers into my ear, "I'm St. Michael, you know, St. Michael of South Beach, and I got a message for you. I'm supposed to tell you that people want too much from you, and it ain't right. You only gots to give what you gots to give." There's a supernatural field of energy between us. I know that he's reading my soul because without any more words, I feel the pain of life from my mother rise up in my throat. I loved my mother. She was a beautiful woman in many ways, but she was much too fragile for the life that she was born into. By the time my daughter was old enough to talk, I had long been exhausted by my mother's neediness, by her rants and laments that flowed from her like an endless river. I'm crying now, standing on the sidewalk and crying as St. Michael holds my hand. "That's all right," he says. "That's all right. You earned them tears." Eventually, it's time to wipe away my tears, and I do. I thank him profusely. Without thinking, I lean in and I kiss him on the cheek in gratitude. I have to do it. It's the right thing, despite the smell. He shakes my hand a bit more, and he winks a sightless wink, and he asks me, "You got your teeth?" "Yeah, I got my teeth," I reply, taken aback yet again. That's good, he says. "I don't kiss no toothless women's." I burst out in a belly laugh and give him a quick last hug, and I turn and walk away. My daughter and I both know something extraordinary has occurred. We walk the rest of the way back to the hotel in very unaccustomed silence. The next morning, my daughter wants to process our difficulties as mother and daughter. I know this needs to be done, but I'm braced against her judgment. She is, to the best of her ability, gentle with me. But she's honest as well, and she pours out the pain of being a storytelling daughter born to a mother that can't listen. As I listen, I see my daughter in a way for the first time. I see how all those years of listening to my mother's unhappiness have robbed us both. A lifelong wall softens and sloughs off like an old skin. And I think back to last night's encounter with St. Michael of South Beach, and I know in that moment, more fully than I ever have, how much my mother took that I did not have to give. I can listen to my daughter now. Well, listen better anyway. And when I think of that evening, I think of how much better I might have been, how much better our lives might have been if I had not had to listen to my mother. Thank you.